I'm Sister Periwinkle Deepforest, and you've just joined Periwinkle's Corner. On this program we talk about art and literature and other creative activities engaged in by members of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community. So today we're going to be focusing on quotes from individuals who are part of the GLBT community. We're going to be looking into the Gay and Lesbian Quotation Book, a literary companion edited by Quentin Crisp. This is the front cover so that you know what it looks like. And this is the wonderfully sweet little picture on the back cover that I just want to share because I think it's cute. Just so that you have a sense of the types of things that are here, I'm going to be focusing this time through on the art and literature chapter of the Gay and Lesbian Quotation Book. If you are doing a drama or a comedy or a talk show about homosexuality, you have an obligation to do your homework and free yourself from the myths. And that was a quote from the Gay Activists Alliance and National Gay Task Force, written in 1973, I believe. One of their statements of purpose, I understand. Why couldn't this collection be locked up again, at least for several decades? Eleanor Roosevelt was a great woman, and her effusively affectionate letters should be removed until the year 2000. This was a quote by a woman whose name was Doris Faber. She made the statement in 1980. And there's an explanation underneath this that I'm going to read for you. It says, "This was spoken to the library director of the National Archives regarding the love letters of Eleanor Roosevelt and Lorena Hickok. The archives ruled against suppression of the letters, and Miss Faber grudgingly used them in her biography of Hickok." Eleanor Roosevelt, of course, was the First Lady, and Eleanor Hickok was a woman that she was very much in love with for a very large portion of her life. And if I understand things correctly, when she and her husband moved into the White House, so did Lorena. And she lived with them the entire time that they were living in the White House. And a great many of the letters that they wrote back and forth happened, of course, either before the time that they were sharing space in the White House or after, but she did in fact live with them for a number of years. I find that a very interesting piece of history, which is why I chose to share the quote with you. Homosexuals have commonly been treated shabbily in detective fiction, vilified, pitied, at best patronized. This was neither fair nor honest. When I sat down to write Fade Out in 1967, I wanted to write a good, compelling whodunit, but I also wanted to right some wrongs. Now this was said in 1985 by Joseph Hansen, and it speaks to, I think, very well the evolution of gay literature and writing, in that for a long time the genre of detective fiction was one of the few ways that gay and lesbian authors could write using gay characters and get away with it, quote unquote, without any problems. And I'm very happy to say that that's changed a great deal over the last few years, certainly for many years. But I think it's a very important historical point to be aware of, because that explains why for certain periods of time there was a huge volume of detective type stories that had gay characters. They're not effeminate either. Some of them are really manly, and you'd never dream they were queer. not from the look of them, but I can always tell because they've all got LPs of Judy Garland. I thought that was a rather funny quote, even though I didn't necessarily read it very well, but it was written by Joe Orton, who lived from 1933 to 1967, who wrote a great deal himself and wrote many gay plays. People often ask, was Shakespeare gay? No, he was beyond being gay. He wasn't even bisexual. He was everything with equal passion, which I think is a very good way of stating or providing an explanation for the periods in the past when those who were part of what we would call the GLBT community might not even see themselves that way if you were to be able to ask them that now. Because the perspective was very different than it is now. The terms GLBT are very modern, and so a great many peoples prior to the invention of those terms and the ideas associated with them would never have called themselves that. That particular, the last quote, was voiced in 1988 by British actor Ian McKellen, who is, in his own right, a very open and honest and direct gay actor, and done some wonderful historical pieces along those lines as well. Thank you very much for joining us again. I hope that you enjoy what we share with you as much as I do.